Talk about a weekend where you're constantly changing channels during the commercial breaks. With the women's basketball team beating Rice on Friday 70-60 and playing again winning 83-56 against Middle Tennessee on Sunday. Baseball going on every day this past weekend and the gymnastics SEC championship on Saturday. To be honest, y'all, I was getting tired of changing the channels. Now that it's Monday and we have a day off of major sporting events at LSU, I thought I'd sit down, give y'all the rundown of this past weekend and what it means for LSU moving forward. This is Cameron Connor, your host, and after this commercial from one of our sponsors, we'll be jumping into Kim Mulkey's Tigers.
I think that most people that contact the 90-day Lifeline are looking to be heard and to feel seen.
Anybody that calls here to talk about anything that has them upset, we will talk to them.
Even on our chat and text services, you will be actually chatting and texting with a real person.
We have enough resources to be able to help people in any type of situation.
We have helpline specialists that are trained to handle the variety of calls that we get.
It's a very laid-back thing. We're not judging anybody. We're just a listening ear that some people don't have.
No, listen, man, we're not going to let one sleazy reporter distract us from what we're trying to do. Absolutely not. My kids didn't even know I said that yesterday. That team's not involved in this. They were in shock when they saw all that on the internet. I don't take that stuff to my team.
LSU's done it again, even with the slow start, no thanks to the Washington Post reporter Kent Babb that Kim Mulkey has branded sleazy. Babb's Washington Post article has not been published yet, and though Tiger Rag editor Todd Horn has spoken with Babb over the weekend, all Babb could do was confirm that he is doing a profile on Kim Mulkey, but could not say when it's going to be published. Number 3, LSU just punched their ticket to the Sweet 16 for the second year in a row with a big win over number 11 Middle Tennessee State. With this win, LSU's Sweet 16 streak continues, marking the first time since 2007 and 2008 they've pulled off back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances. LSU turned up the heat in the second half of this game, flipping a 4-point halftime deficit into an 83-56 victory at the PMAC. Both Coach Kim Mulkey and Flau'jae Johnson credited Haley Van Lith for being the turning point in cutting the head off the snake.
I don't think y'all had a steal in the first half, and y'all come out, I think, 4 steals in the first 4 minutes. Just what changed defensively for y'all, and what allowed y'all to go on that run?
Haley, I told Haley we got to cut the head off the snake, you know what I'm saying? And she really took that challenge on because they point guard. She's little, but she's mighty, and she makes things happen for them, and she breaks down defenses. So Haley gave us the opportunity to be able to get in some passing lanes for the bigs to be able to work their mojo. So that's all Haley Van Lith right there.
Van Lith's defense against Savannah Willer helped turn the energy in LSU's favor, shutting down Middle Tennessee's offense like a boss. The Tigers limited the Blue Raiders to 2 made threes in the second half after they made 6 in the first. LSU also tallied 6 steals in the second half. LSU got Middle Tennessee in foul trouble as the Blue Raiders had 3 players foul out and another 3 that committed 4 fouls.
Well, it didn't go, but guys, sometimes won't we give credit to the other team? That's a Hall of Fame coach down there. Those kids hadn't lost a game since the, end of December. That's a good team, well coached. They run their stuff. They reverse the ball. They make you defend for 30 seconds. As I told you in the press conference before we played them, do you know how many Power 5 teams that man has beaten? About 17, 19 in the SEC alone. I give credit to the opponent.
Well, I've been doing this for about 48 years. And I can remember 1 or 2 games like this. I don't know how many games AAU travel team. It's hard to overcome 37 free throws to 9. That's my opening statement.
But let's talk stats for the LSU players. LSU dominated the court in the second half, racking up points left and right. Flau'jae Johnson was on fire, leading the scoring charge with 21 points. She has now eclipsed 20 points or more 6 times this season. most recently in the SEC tournament against Ole Miss. Johnson also had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. Angel Reese, who probably played her last game inside the PMAC, followed as she recorded her 14th consecutive double-double with 20 points and 11 boards after a 14-point second half. It marked her 25th double-double of the season. She dished out 3 assists and had 2 steals and a block. Anissa Morrow joined Reese as the only other player to earn a double-double as she finished with 19 points and 13 rebounds. She also had 3 assists. In only her second NCAA tournament, Michaela Williams had 16 points and hit a pair of big threes in the second half to help turn the momentum. Middle Tennessee put up a fight, but LSU's defense held strong, limiting their scoring opportunities, and that second half surge was unreal. LSU put up a whopping 51 points, sealing the deal with an 83-56 win.
Now, Angel missed some breakaway layups. That had nothing to do with size inside, but she kept battling. I think at half, Angel didn't even have an offensive board. I thought it was very obvious that use your fouls. They were physical. They used their fouls, and we took advantage of it. I thought our energy, I thought our aggressiveness, I thought our effort in the second half wore them down. Even when they got good looks, they didn't make them. And I think at the end of the third quarter, if I remember, I think they only had 1 3. And I think we just picked up our effort a lot more in the third and fourth quarter.
Heading into the Sweet 16, tonight UCLA will go up against Creighton at 7:30 p.m. to determine which team LSU will end up playing. UCLA, the number 2 seed in the Albany 2 Regional, and Creighton is 7th. Assuming that UCLA pulls through with the win, they'll be the ones playing LSU. UCLA finished second in the Pac-12 and has gone 26-6 this season and has a lot of star power of its own. A name to watch tonight during the UCLA-Creighton matchup is 6'7" Lauren Betts, who sat out the last game because she was injured and missed 4 games during the regular season due to an undisclosed injury and expected to be back on the court tonight. A few weeks ago on Tiger Rag Radio, ESPN bracketologist Charlie Cream said that UCLA was the second best team in the country most of the season until injuries affected them. The question is, are they really healthy now? Well, we're going to learn more tonight. The Bruins have both the size, led by center Lauren Betts, and wing depth that matches up well with the Tigers. Betts has been a tough cover for practically every opponent this season. UCLA has only lost 3 games that Betts was in and is nearly 15 points better per 100 possessions with her on the court than off of it. Offensively, she's a near automatic around the basket, shooting 72% at the rim and 52.6% in the paint. Both marks well above the national average. Defensively, Betts is a top shot blocker and has proven disciplined enough to contest shots without fouling. All of these things making UCLA a very challenging opponent. So, what's next for LSU? They're heading to the Sweet 16, y'all.
Go stream my new single, Ain't My Fault.
It ain't my fault.
It's out everywhere. Y'all go get that.
Get out your feelings, get a bag.
Yeah, and look at that assistant turnover ratio.
The women's basketball team weren't the only ones putting in the work this weekend. Coach Jay Clark's gymnastics squad won the SEC, Jay Clark's first SEC title at LSU, and for the 5th time in school history this past Saturday with the score of 198.075.
It means a lot. It means an awful lot. This is a great group. I've been very proud of how they've gone about their business all year long. But you never know. You come into this thing, and this thing's a meat grinder. Any 4 of these teams could have won this thing, and the SEC is a gauntlet. And to come in here and be able to do it at home in front of our fans is pretty special.
The Tigers kicked things off on vault with some stellar performances. Haley Bryant's vault got everyone pumped with the score of 9.975, putting LSU in a prime position tied with Alabama after the first rotation. Moving on to bars, Kaya Johnson led the charge with solid performance, setting the tone for the team, and Ashley Cohen matched her career high with a 9.950. But it was all on beam where LSU really shined. Freshman Connor McLean blew everyone away with a perfect 10, the first one and the only one of the entire SEC championship and her third in her career. With strong performances all around, they finished with a 4.9.475, the second highest LSU beam score in program history. Heading into the final rotation, LSU was in the exact place Jay Clark wanted the Tigers to be in so they could finish where they're the strongest in the country, on the floor routine. And they came through, y'all. Trailing Kentucky by just .025, McLean, Amari Drayton, Bryant, and both Kaya and KJ Johnson all had impressive routines that added to their win. Being head coach Jay Clark's first SEC title, senior Haley Bryant is one of the best gymnasts in the country. Kaya Johnson coming back for a final year after being injured all last season. This was a well-deserved victory for LSU. The next step in the climb for LSU is the NCAA Regionals. That'll be April 3rd through 7th. Today, March 25th, the regional selections will be announced. LSU doesn't know where they're going to be until later today, but they do know they'll be number one wherever they go. The Arkansas and Michigan Regional will be April 3rd through 6th, with the California and Florida Regional being April 4th through 7th. After that, the selections are announced for the National Championship on April 8th, with the championship going from April 18th through the 20th.
The East Baton Rouge Library says this is the year to invest in you. The library brings value by connecting you to information, resources, materials, technology, and experiences. We make a positive difference in your life. All you need is your library card. Stop by one of our 14 locations, open 7 days a week, or find us online at ebrpl.com.
All right, I'm here with Will Nickel. Will, you were covering the baseball games all weekend, and I don't quite understand what happened here. I mean, LSU won the first game on Friday. Luke Holman was awesome. They all handled their business all game on Friday, and it looked like it was going to be a great weekend. And on Saturday, in fact, I think they were one pitch out from taking the series until it fell apart, and then it continued falling apart all Sunday for them.
Yeah, on Friday they probably had one of their better games of the season. They won 6-1. Luke Holman really shut down the Florida offense. I think Florida had a season low hits. They only had 4 hits in that game. Their one run came off just a solo home run. And, in the second game, they looked like they were kind of picking up where they left off from Friday. It wasn't as dominant, but they had a 4-2 lead for most of the game. And then in the 8th inning, they gave up 1 run. And then in the 9th inning, they gave up another to force extra innings. And then in the 11th inning, the 2-run home run really just took it out of LSU. It didn't seem like they were going to come back from that, and they didn't. The offense kind of just stopped hitting after they took the 4-2 lead. They really struggled to hit after that. And then that kind of carried over into Sunday's game where, they only had 3 hits in the game. They put up 1 earned run, which was from the Jared Jones home run. And then Thatcher Hurd, really, he put in a good performance for the first 4 innings, but then he's this season he's had a problem with the big inning where he just gives up a lot of runs in that 1 inning. And then in the 5th inning, he gave up 6 runs to Florida, and it didn't seem like LSU was going to come back from that, and they didn't. They just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about Jay Johnson? I mean, getting ejected from the game on Sunday, I would say he almost went from ejected to dejected whenever he saw that him leaving the game actually had the opposite effect on the team that he was hoping it was going to have.
Yeah, so Jared hit a homer, and then him and the pitcher said something to each other. I literally did not see. The guys went out in front of the dugout like they typically do on a homer. I did not see what happened. But we both were given an unsportsmanlike warning by the umpire. So I just asked him when I went out there the first time, well, what happened? Like, what was said? And I think their coach did the same thing. And so they issued the warning. And then Hayden struck out, and the pitcher immediately said something to Hayden. And so it's like, why are we giving a warning if you're not going to enforce the rule? So I don't know if the umpire deemed whatever he said was not worthy of being ejected, but to me, there's no point in giving a warning if you're not going to do something about it when something happens 30 seconds after you issued the warning. And so, yeah, I have different feelings on getting ejected and what it means. I'll be staying in the game from this point forward for this year, at least with this team.
So that was not a ploy at all to fire up the team or anything like that?
Well, I was definitely standing up for them. Hayden, put his blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. He came back for a 5th season, not to get beat 12-2 by Florida on a Sunday. And, yeah, so it was totally for that. But if that's the best we can do from a response, it doesn't work. It used to be the thing, it should fire up the team, which we obviously needed to be fired up. But now I think, and I've felt this way a long time, so this isn't like specific to this team, I think they just look at, man, coach is losing his poise, so something's really wrong. So I don't think it has any value, and it clearly didn't have value for our team today.
Yeah, he was asked after the game if he got ejected kind of as a intentional thing to fire up the team, and he didn't really say yes or no, but it seemed like it was an intentional thing to get the team fired up, and it really didn't work. They kind of seemed lifeless after he got ejected. They seemed lifeless kind of the whole game, to be honest, and then they really just couldn't hit anything against Florida.
Yeah, there's just only so many hot dogs that one can eat to cure the pain while they're watching a baseball game.
Yeah, my season count is getting pretty high, so.
So, after Southeastern, since LSU's playing Southeastern on Tuesday, March 26th, LSU then is facing number 1 Arkansas at the end of the week. What do you see happening against Arkansas? Do you think LSU has a chance? Do you think, how does Coach Jay Johnson say it? Do you think that they'll learn how to compete?
Yeah, they can compete. Obviously playing on the road, especially in the SEC, is extremely difficult. Arkansas is the number 1 team in the country. They have some amazing pitchers on their team. And I think it's going to be obviously an uphill battle because of just the fact that they're on the road against number 1 Arkansas, but they have the players on their team to compete. Luke Holman and Gage Jump, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get 5 or 6 really solid innings of work from them just about every weekend. They just have to really capitalize on those performances with their hitting on the offensive side of the ball because they've been really struggling to hit this season. And then, if it comes down to a game 3 like it has the last few times, LSU's been run ruled in both their game 3s this season. They have to, if it comes down to a game 3 with a split series 1-1, they're going to need a performance from presumably Thatcher Hurd where he doesn't give up that big inning like he did in the 5th inning against Florida. He needs to, be consistent throughout each inning that he plays in and not give up 6 runs in the 5th inning or something like that. And that if they can do that along with, getting consistent hitting to complement some of the pitching they get from Gage Jump and Luke Holman, I think they have a shot to take the series. It's definitely an uphill battle, but it's not. They have a chance. They have good players on their team.
All right, thank you, Will, for coming on. Like I said, LSU is going to try to bounce back on Tuesday against Southeastern. The game's going to start at 6:30 p.m. in Alex Box Stadium. Are you going to be there, Will?
Yes, I am.
With hot dog in hand?
2 or 3 hot dogs in hand, probably.
All right, well, thanks for coming on again. I guess we'll see what LSU's bringing to the mound come tomorrow night.
It's your time to move things forward. U.S. Army Reserve.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Stay tuned to TigerRag.com for more LSU sports updates, and I'll be back later this week.